Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're a busy taxpayer and you're staring down an unexpected IRS balance, I just want you to take a deep breath. Today, we're going to calmly and confidently decode what is quite literally the easiest path to IRS penalty relief. I know dealing with the IRS usually feels totally overwhelming, but honestly, when you break their rules down into a structured process, it actually becomes incredibly manageable.
Right, so today we're taking a clear, strategic look at how to handle these IRS penalties without all the usual stress, using some insights and tools from US Tax Penalty Saver. You really don't need to be a tax attorney to figure out your options. You just need to know how the system actually works. And that's what we're doing today, walking through exactly how to navigate it step by step.
Let's kick things off with a question that, honestly, might sound a little too good to be true. Can you actually erase a full year of IRS penalties? Well, the short answer is absolutely yes. The IRS has this specific program in place that can completely wipe out a full year of penalties, and you can often get it done with just a single phone call. The catch? The IRS doesn't really go around advertising it. You kind of just have to know to ask for it.
To get a handle on how this works, let's contrast your two main paths to getting relief. First up, you've got first-time abatement, or FTA. Think of this as your clean record reward. If you've got a clean history with the IRS, they don't ask you to prove any kind of hardship. It is, hands down, your easiest win. On the other hand, we have reasonable cause. Now, this is the traditional route, and it requires you to prove a specific hardship. Think an illness or a natural disaster, and it demands hours of digging up complex documentation. Because of all that heavy lifting, you should always check to see if you qualify for first-time abatement first.
Now, you might be wondering, what if I have penalties stacked up across multiple years? Well, that's where smart tax strategy comes in. The best move is to use first-time abatement to completely wipe out your highest penalty year, since FTA is limited to just a single tax year. Then, you build a reasonable cause defense for the remaining years using guided tools like a penalty wizard. It's a combination approach, and it's incredibly effective. Let's zoom in on that first-time abatement rule for a second. What does it actually do? It is specifically designed to erase one single year of failure to file or failure to pay penalties, which, let's face it, are the two most common penalties out there. And what makes this so incredibly powerful is the absolute lack of an excuse needed. The IRS isn't asking why you were late. They literally just look at your track record. So how do you know if your track record is up to par? Well, there's a really simple 3-question test to figure out your eligibility. Question 1 is your absolute baseline. Have you filed all the tax returns you were required to file? The reality is, the IRS won't even negotiate or grant any sort of leniency if you have unfiled returns missing from your record. You've got to be fully caught up on your paperwork first. Okay, moving to question 2. Have you paid what you owe or set up a payment plan? Here's the good news. You don't necessarily need a zero balance right this second to get your penalties removed, but you must have either paid the outstanding tax balance in full or be actively enrolled in an official IRS payment plan and making those payments consistently. And that brings us to the third and really the most crucial question regarding your account history. Were your previous 3 tax years completely free of penalties? This right here is the clean record part of the clean record reward. If you didn't have any penalties for the 3 years right before the penalized year we're talking about, and you answered yes to the first 2 questions about filing and paying, then you very likely qualify for first-time abatement. The absolute key here is knowing exactly where you stand before you ever approach the IRS. You need a structured, clear view of your debt. A proper penalty breakdown is going to isolate your exact original tax owed from those extra failure to file and failure to pay amounts. You have to know which portions are actual taxes, which you do have to pay, and which portions are penalties, which can legally be erased. When you run a penalty calculation report, you want to be looking for a big alert that says, you may qualify for FTA. Getting a breakdown like this proves your potential savings and maps out exactly how to make the request. Remember, you do not have to wait around for the IRS to offer it to you. If you meet the criteria, you can request this abatement over the phone or by mailing a ready-to-send Form 843 straight to the correct IRS address for your specific state. Now, if you're looking for the fastest possible result, you can actually just make a single phone call using a word-for-word request script. You simply call the IRS, get an agent on the line, and literally read it to them. You give them your notice number, state that you believe you qualify for first-time abatement under their specific manual reference, which is IRM 20.1.1.3.3.2.1, and let the agent run your account through their system. It's incredibly straightforward when you have the exact words right in front of you. Let's pause here for just a second because I want to responsibly manage expectations, just like any seasoned tax strategist would. While the rules are clear, keep in mind this is general educational information, not legal or tax advice. Based on your account history, you may qualify for this relief, but IRS approval is never guaranteed. Your specific eligibility always comes down to the exact historical details of your IRS account. So if your situation is deeply complex, definitely consult a licensed tax professional. But for the vast majority of people, the absolute best first step is to take immediate action and get your data together. You can head over and use the free calculator at ustaxpenaltysaver.com. This tool lets you plug in your basic tax info, check your specific eligibility based on official IRS guidelines, and logically map out your exact strategy before you even think about picking up the phone. So let me leave you with this provocative thought. Are you ready to find out if your clean record can save you from a full year of penalties? You now know the difference between first-time abatement and reasonable cause. You've got the 3-question test down. It's time to stop stressing over those mounting letters in the mail and start taking structured, strategic action to resolve that IRS balance today. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this structured breakdown has empowered you to take control of your situation calmly and confidently. To check your eligibility right now, just head over to ustaxpenaltysaver.com and use that free IRS penalty calculator. Keep learning, stay organized, and take care.